Wow, what can I say, guys? Whew. You can see why the spindrift's been so bad this side. The tent's acted as a brake and it's powder, so it's literally just blowing off the top and blowing straight underneath my tent. Hello YouTube, it's been a while. More on that shortly, but as you can see, we're out. We've got some bad weather coming, this time in the form of some heavy snow with a little bit of wind. We are right slap bang in the middle of nowhere, and as you can see, all the surrounding fells have got snow on them. And we're heading up there, right into the clag. At the moment we're currently hovering around about the -1 Celsius. And consequently today's video is going to be about how I keep warm whilst winter camping. I'm sure you all know, but if you get a clear day with no wind in the winter, the views are absolutely spectacular and most definitely on a par with the summer. But it can get awfully cold while you're sat out enjoying those views. So today I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks, as well as some old gear and new that I use to keep warm during the winter months while I'm wild camping. And hopefully you guys will find that of use. Right, let's get up that mountain. Now I should have actually been down in Wales today with Dan. Unfortunately, circumstances have changed at the last minute and Dan couldn't make that camp, so I had to think quickly and I didn't have much time for planning. Luckily I know the local mountains pretty well, so we are currently on our way up Great Mell Fell, a fell that I have camped before, but this time I'm tackling it from the opposite side to the one that I ascended last time. And as you can see, she's a steep one. Oh, despite it being cold, I'm actually pretty warm. I tend to run pretty warm when I'm walking anyways, and it's only recently that I've started to get quite cold when I stop. So for this walk, I've got a synthetic t-shirt on, one that'll wick the sweat away and if needed dry quite quickly. I've got my usual thin red fleece on. I've got my Northridge just normal summer walking pants on, me very sturdy full leather mammut boots paired up with my Bridgedale winter walking socks. So for now that is regulating my temperature quite nicely. I've already had to break out the gloves because it is quite cold on the hands. However, I've got a down jacket, I've got a waterproof jacket, and I have got my woolly hat, all easily accessible on the outer extremities of my rucksack. So should that weather change, I can deploy them really quickly and keep myself nice and warm. Although this is a steeper ascent to last time, it is very much shorter. I'm currently a quarter of a mile away from the summit for tonight's wild camp. It is ever so slightly out of shot now, but it is shrouded in mist. And that mist is starting to come in quite quickly now. And welcome to 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Oh dear me, that's come quick. Oh, since my last video, which was the review of my new hot tent, I haven't been out one bit. The 3 weeks leading up to Christmas, I was really poorly with that flu that was going around. However, I did feel well enough to get out one more time before Christmas. But once again, the weather scuppered the job. Basically, the 4 weekends leading up to Christmas, we had named storms up here in Cumbria with stupidly heavy rain and stupidly high winds. And with that flu still hanging on, it just wasn't worth it for me. So I'm feeling well rested. As always, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, it's awesome to have you guys join me once again on a wild camp. And if you're a new viewer to the channel, welcome to A Cumbrian Lad Outdoors. Yeah, that's coming in quick now. So I need to get up to the top and get myself set up as quickly as possible. No summit cairn on this one, but here we are once again at the summit of Great Mell Fell. Last time I was up here, it was a beautiful day, you could see for miles. Yeah, not so much today, man. Not so much today. We've got a good dust in the snow. Signs of people making snowballs in a sec. Come to the Lake District, they say. Come and see the views. Oh, I was hoping that there'd be no mist today and I could sit out and enjoy a beautiful winter wonderland as it started to snow. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that opportunity today. But like I say, we're talking keeping warm whilst winter wild camping. So now we've summited the mountain, whether it's the middle of winter or the middle of summer, you're always going to have a layer of sweat next to your skin. And now I've stopped, I can already feel myself starting to get cold. So what I like to do is make sure that I get a buff, my hat and my down jacket on, just to stop myself getting cold. Obviously it takes less energy to keep warm than it does to warm up, so that's exactly what I'm going to do now, and that's much better. I can feel myself retaining the heat that I've generated already. We do just have a slight glimpse of the sun and the mountains in the distance, albeit very briefly. You can see that that sun is low in the sky, so it won't be too long before I'm setting my tent up. Another part of keeping warm in winter is choosing the right tent. Today I'm in the Tarptent Scarp 1 Ultra, which is a 4-season tent. It goes very low to the ground and it's got a solid mesh inner, so that'll help keep the wind off you and retain a little bit of heat. Another part of your gear in winter time is knowing it inside out, practicing when the weather is good, so you know that if you need to in the winter months you can deploy it and set it up really quickly. So knowing your gear inside out is another important aspect of keeping warm during the winter camps. And that is the tent up in double quick time, and it is a good job that I know my kit inside out, because my hands are freezing. The temperature has started to plummet. I haven't checked on my anemometer, but it's certainly, with the wind chill, definitely around about -4 or -5. The clouds are still about. We do get some little clearances every now and again, but I think it's pretty much in for the night. There's the Tarptent Scarp 1 Ultra, all set up nice and taut. Now obviously you want to get inside the tent as quickly as possible. So what I like to do is get everything thrown inside the tent, my rucksack put in the spare porch, and then I can get inside the tent and finish setting it up. You can see there everything's just thrown in, all ready to set up. I've got a fire pot barbecue pulled pork for tea tonight. Breakfast, homemade breakfast for morning. My jet boil, my gas. I've got one alcohol-free brewdog coming up on almost 5 months without any alcohol, and I've got my water there. Now you will notice this. Now this isn't exactly what I wanted. I thought it was foil backed foam. It's actually foil backed polystyrene. Now Kat from Wildcat Adventures uses a 1mm thick bit of foam just to line a tent bottom in the middle of winter. Not all of yours always on your sleep mat, and this just provides a little bit of extra insulation, especially when, like tonight, you set up on top of ice or snow. We'll see how it works, but I'm in the search for some foil backed foam ideally. Right, time to get everything else all set up inside the tent. I was hoping to be able to sit out and enjoy a bit of a winter review for a little while, but it's now currently 4:10. I've got the tent set up just in time. There's not long until it gets dark now. And as you can see outside of the tent, it's pretty much just mist. So time to get that door shut, get warmed up, because my hands are pretty cold off setting everything up, and then it's going to be time to get something to eat. Well, I've not been in my tent very long at all.
maybe 15-20 minutes, and we are starting to lose the light outside pretty rapidly. I've warmed myself up nicely. My hands were particularly cold. Obviously wearing gloves when you're setting up your tent, you lose a lot of dexterity. But since I've been inside the tent, I've had my Go Cozy heated gloves on and my hands are toasty warm. If you scroll down a few videos, you will see a dedicated review video to these gloves. Absolute game changer for me, because I suffer from Raynaud's, especially when I'm sitting outside enjoying the views in the winter. Having these has just made such a big difference. Go Cozy did send me them for free, but in the review video I explain, as always, my opinions are my own. They won't be swayed in any way whatsoever. So despite getting them for free, or anything for free, if I think it's crap, I'll tell you it's crap. And these are great. And I'm really noticing a difference on the floor of my tent with having this foil backed polystyrene. When my feet or parts of my legs are off my sleeping mat, I'm not noticing the cold. Like I say, I'm pitched on top of frozen snow, so that's a really good addition. Like I say, not exactly what I was looking for. I want some foil backed foam ideally, so I can be a bit more rough with it when I'm folding it away and what have you. This stuff will just fall to bits, but for an experiment I think it's doing really well. And a couple of new bits to show you. Again, I primarily bought these for when I'm sitting out in the winter enjoying the views, but it's freezing cold. And that is a set of Nature Hike down pants and down slipper boots. I'll give you a quick look at them. There you are. Waterproof and windproof, high down fill, keeping me nice and warm. I will say that these are the biggest boots that Nature Hike do. I'm a size 13 and as you can see it is a tight squeeze, but so far they're keeping my feet and my legs toasty warm. And I am also going to try sleeping in these tonight inside my sleeping bag. As well as the heated gloves, I've got my Core Edge heated gilet on. I used this for the first time last winter, and once again an absolute game changer. When you're sitting out, keeps you toasty warm, keeps your back warm, your two pockets, and you've got round your neck cuff as well. And a cracking little tip, if you've got one of these, is 10 minutes before you get in your sleeping bag, you just put it on medium or high power and stick it in the bottom of your sleeping bag, zip it up. When you jump in, the bottom is lovely and warm, and you can leave it on overnight. It might not last all night with the power bank you've got, but with me, I put my 20,000 milliamp Anchor power bank on, and it lasts all night on medium power, and it eventually heats the whole of your sleeping bag. So a cracking little tip for you there. As much as having a 4-season tent is important, and it no doubt is, it does hold a little bit of heating, but the primary reason is to keep the wind and the rain off you. It won't actually make that much difference on holding in a lot of temperature. The most important thing is your sleep system. A good sleeping mat combined with a good sleeping bag. Now, if you're a regular viewer to the channel, you'll already know my setup for this. But for those of you that are new to the channel, I use the Sea to Summit Etherlight XT Extreme sleeping mat. I can't remember the stats on it. I've had it for that long now, over 2 years, and it is my absolute go-to. But I'll put the R value up on the screen here. It wasn't cheap at the time. I think it was about 200 quid. I think you can get them a little bit cheaper now. And my down sleeping bag is the OEX Leviathan EV900. Now, there are a lot better bags out there on the market, but in my honest opinion, this is the best value for money sleeping bag on the market. If you get them in the sales, you can get them for 99 quid, and the comfort rated down to -12. I am looking at changing this, but this has been my go-to sleeping bag for 4 years now, and it's never let me down. So without a doubt, I would prioritise my sleeping mat and my sleeping bag, my full sleep system, first before upgrading my tent. Not quite ready for my food yet, so I'm going to put the camera down for now. I'm going to message a few mates, see what they're up to. And as always, I'll bring you back when it's time for some food. Yeah, that temperature is plummeting rapidly. I would say, obviously, there's no wind chill inside the tent, so I would say we're around about -3, -4, something like that with my experience. I have tried to turn my anemometer on and the battery's flat, but I'm never more than a couple of degrees out, so safe to say it's cold. I've got my fire pot pulled pork meal just rehydrating at the moment. 15 minutes. Another little tip, obviously, you can see I'm in my sleeping bag, just trying to keep as warm as possible. I don't really need to today, but one, if you put it inside your bag with you, it retains the heat inside your meal, so it's warmer when you eat it. And two, it warms you up as well. Great for the hands. So far there's not much wind. You can see the tent maybe moving around just a little bit, but it's nothing more than the breeze. And while I was boiling my water, I had the vent open on the tent, and there's no sign of any snow yet either. Mind you, we are quite a bit before when it's due to land. And that's 20 minutes done, so it's time to eat. It's been a while since I've had a fire pot. The last couple of these I've had didn't rehydrate properly, so I did add a little bit of extra water, and I've given it an extra few minutes as well. It does seem to have filled out nicely. Tasty enough. Again, I wouldn't say it's fully rehydrated. I would say maybe 90-95%, but I ain't waiting no longer. I'm a hungry man. Right, you guys know the drill by now. I'm going to get myself away and finish this. There's not going to be a great lot going on now, but I will bring you back one more time before I go to bed. Time's ticking on now. It's getting a little bit late for a cold night. It's around about 8 o'clock. So it's time for me to get my head down, get some sleep. I need to be fresh for the morning. We are forecast a lot of snow, so it could be hard work getting down the hill in the morning. So I want to have a good night's sleep. But the last little tip for keeping warm for tonight is for the gents. Ladies, you'll have to figure out your own way of doing this. But for us gents, a pee bottle is an absolute essential for me. Obviously, getting out your sleeping bag is bad enough, but if you've got to get out of your tent to go for the wee and then get back in, it's an awful lot of warming up that needs to happen. This is a collapsible one, but you can just use a normal solid Nalgene. All you've got to do is just unzip your sleeping bag and you can have a wee inside the tent. Make sure that you put the top back on securely. We don't want any leaks. And then you can also use that to keep warm as well. Normally I've got some nice photos and some drone footage to show you overnight. I managed to get 2 or 3 photos of the tent when we had a small clearance. So hopefully I'll be able to cobble something together for you guys to enjoy overnight. And we'll see you in the morning. Good morning everyone. A nice toasty warm night's sleep. Currently 6 o'clock in the morning, so I've had a good night's sleep. As you can hear, that wind is whistling around a little bit and it is snowing. Now this is only my second snow camp in a scarp. I've had a scarp for 4 years now, and it's been my go-to tent, but there is one slight issue with it. It's been on all the forums and it's been on several videos, but the fact that the scarp doesn't go all the way to the ground is a little bit of an issue. Now Henry Shires, who manufactures the Tarptent Scarp one, says that that's for ventilation. However, I'm a fully grown adult. If a tent is able to go all the way to the ground, but you are able to cinch it up, I can then choose when I need ventilation and when I don't. Today I don't really want ventilation because this happens. There's a little thing called spindrift. Now you can see the inner of my tent there. That has got snow on it. Look at this. Snow everywhere, man. So Henry Shires, should you for some reason stumble across this video, please make a scarp one that goes all the way to the ground. Right, I am going to try and get myself some breakfast on. Be another hour or so before it's daylight. Now normally I wouldn't be too bothered about making my way down the mountain in the dark. However, with today's conditions, I am going to wait for daylight, just so it's a bit safer for my descent. But for now, it's breakfast time. And Tactical Duck has been keeping me company all night. If you know, you know. I've had to change porches. The spindrift on the porch where I did have all my cooking gear is getting full pretty quickly. It's considerably calmer on the opposite side. You see I've got my vent open and my breakfast is warming through nicely, so I'm looking forward to that. It should warm my hands up and my belly up. I'm not looking forward to that walk down the mountain. So I'm going to keep my hands warm inside my sleeping bag for 20 minutes while my food warms through, and I'm going to eat that. Then it'll be time to start packing up inside the tent. Try and get everything as neat as possible. I'm going to have to keep my gloves on when I'm packing the tent down today because the wind chill is absolutely savage. I can feel it on my fingers already, just with handling the jet boil in my water and stuff. Try and get the tent taken down as economically as quickly as possible. That'll just be going on the outside of my rucksack this morning. And then yeah, down the hill in the snow and the wind. But yeah, for now 20 minutes and then it's definitely food time. A good hearty breakfast on a morning like this is not only a great way to start the day, but it ensures that you're warm. By the time I've eaten this, my hands will be warm, I'll be nice and warm, and I'll be fully fed. After that, it'll be packing up inside the tent, which tends to generate some heat. So you want to make sure that you've got everything inside your rucksack ready to go. Then once you get outside the tent, you've got your tent to take down, get onto your rucksack, and then you're ready to go as quick as possible. But first, just what the doctor ordered. I'm going to finish this, get packed up inside the tent. I'll have a little bit of a crack with you before I get out of the tent, and I'll get as much footage as I can outside and on the way down. Well, that is me just about all packed up and ready to go. I've got my waterproof pants on and I've got my waterproof jacket there, I'm going to put that on more for protection against the wind than anything else. Obviously the snow has a little bit of moisture to it, but yeah, it's more for protection from the wind. That's my rucksack ready to go. You can see there I've got my bin bag. So as always, and as it should be, I'll be leaving no trace. One slight issue with the spindrift, I've got a bit of snow in my boots, so I need to get that out of them before I can put them on. Obviously I'm going to have wet feet and cold feet when I get back, but I've got a spare pair of socks in the car. Yeah, it's time for the worst part about camping, especially today, and that's going home.
Wow, what can I say, guys? Whew. You can see why the spindrift's been so bad this side. The tent's acted as a brake, and it's powder, so it's literally just blowing off the top and blowing straight underneath my tent. My path down is that way, but as you can probably see, visibility is going to be hard this morning. So, tent's coming down. Like I say, I'll get you as much footage on the way down that I can, if any, but I'll most definitely see you at the car. There we are, that's where the tent was. You can see just how deep that snowbank is that was around me. Complete whiteout, other than a little bit of grass sticking through. I think the wind's obviously letting as much of it lie as it can, but then anything that's sitting up on those tufts of grass is just getting blown off. Oh, I'm nice and warm. I tell you something, these Go Cozy gloves, I managed to get the tent down with them on. Absolutely banging. I've had to take them off, my hands are hot. Super impressed with these. Like I say, guys, I've done a video on that. If you're interested, go and check it out. Oh, right, time to get back to the car. Now descending the same route that I come up, and yeah, it's very steep in this snow. I would say maybe nearly a foot deep in places. Difficult to see because it's actually stopped snowing at the minute. All this is fog. So I don't know how low down that snow's penetrated, so I'm hoping I'll be exiting the snow layer pretty soon with a bit of luck. Oh, I'm not far off the car now, not far at all. It's just at the end of where we at, that straight there. But I've had to stop and take a few layers off. Sweating. The wind isn't so bad down here, so consequently I left my down pants on just to help with the wind chill, but unnecessary down here, but I'm not taking them off. So yeah, need to cool down a bit, but beautiful down here. Not as much snow as we'd anticipated. But it'll do. It's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. Right, let's get to that car. Well, that's me back at the car. You can see there, good covering of snow on her. Maybe half a foot in places at this level. Wow. And up there, yeah, that's where I spent the night. Cracking little camp. A little bit disappointed in the Scarp 1 Ultra. Henry Shires keeps saying that it doesn't go to the ground for ventilation, but it's designed for snow loading. That's what the cross poles are for snow loading. And what's the point if that happens? Hopefully he gets to see this. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've potentially learned a few things about keeping warm whilst winter camping. I've obviously run through as many things as I could. That little floor layer with the silver foil on worked really well, and when I come to pack that away I really noticed the cold. So I'm going to continue my search for some 1mm thick foam with some foil backing on for that purpose. Fantastic. The down pants and the down boots worked a treat. and they will be featuring in future videos for sure. But for now, it is time to get myself away home and get myself a well-earned shower. So thank you all very much for joining me on this one, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. So once again, until next time, stay safe, much love from a very snowy Cumbrian lad.